Good evening, everybody, and this is Free to Heal, and I'm Noreen McClendon, your moderator and facilitator, and I want to welcome everybody. This is a group we come together every week as formerly incarcerated, loved ones, children, anybody affected by the criminal justice system, and we are trying to heal from the ravages of what the criminal justice system has done to all of us as individuals, family members, and community. And so we're so glad that you could join us. We're on all social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Check us out. Hope that you would enjoy. Tonight we had spotlight for our discussion tonight. It was very brief because today is Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. Hope you had a good day. Hope you have some love in your life. Hopefully, the first love you have is with yourself. And tonight's topic was about, I took it from my book, Hurt People Highway, which is available on Amazon. And in the book, I discuss, as I began to value myself, I started to treat myself like a business. And what does that mean? So in order to get me to spend time with you or any of those things, I have to figure out, what have you invested? There are some people that are, let's look at it this way. There are some people that are friends. There are some people that are close friends. There are people that are friends enough to be family. And then there are people that are just acquaintances that you know. They don't all get the same level of accountability, responsibility, service, and attention. So if you go to, I always use the example, top shelf liquor. I consider myself top shelf liquor. And if you want that, you got to invest what it costs. You don't get this as a 4-pack. You got to get the one with the key and go up on the top shelf to get enough. You got to pay for that. You got to dig deep in and to get all that as an investment. If you don't want to be invested with me in that way, and you don't want very much from me, you want to talk to me occasionally or whatever, then you may not have to invest that much. But if you want an investment of my consistent time, my energy, my, heaven forbid, you want access to the resources that I might have, whether that's friends or family or people that I know. And oh my gosh, if you want sex, well, then that's a different level investment. All of those things, there's a menu of services that are in the Noreen business. And you just have to decide what level of investment, and I need to know what level of investment you need from me. So I hope that you enjoyed this session. It was very brief, but it was powerful. And I look to hear from you guys in the comment sections. Please tell us if there are topics that you want to discuss. But this is all about looking at yourself as a business and making sure people make the right deposits before they get to make too many withdrawals. Have a good one. See you next week. So welcome to Free to Heal, everybody, and those of you just joining us. And we are going to be reading tonight from an excerpt from my book, Hurt People Highway, and treat myself like a business. When I was learning how to value myself, it helped me to look at myself as a business. I have been in business for years. There are some principles to running my business that I had to apply to me and my personal relationships. In business, I only have so much time, money, and energy to dedicate to any business venture. So I doled out my precious business energy to projects that would benefit the business in some way. It was not just about making money. Sometimes it was in furtherance of a mission or cause that was often more important than making money. Okay, so as a business operator and person been running a business for many years, sometimes I find myself in a position to have to make decisions that are not so much about how much money we can generate, but more about the mission of our nonprofit organization, who can benefit, and whether or not it is even in alignment with our business. Someone may come to our nonprofit and ask us to get involved in something that we just can't support based on who the community is that we serve, the people that we serve in the community, or we don't think it's in the best interest of the community. So we wouldn't support those things. And those things are not about money. We've been offered to help people out with different projects, and it was just like they offered us a lot of money, and it's like, no, our credibility as an organization is not for sale, just because we can make money, because otherwise we lose credibility in the community. And that is the most valuable asset that our organization has, is our credibility. So when it came to relationships in my personal life, I expended a lot of energy on projects that didn't benefit me. There was very little return on my investment. Even when it came to acquaintances, I might push myself to show up for them, but they never showed up for me. I began to understand that spending that energy was a poor business decision for me as the business. If people are not investing in me, then I should not be in a relationship with them. Specifically, if a man can't do something as simple as call when he says he will, then he certainly is not making enough of an investment in the Noreen business to receive royalties of my time, energy, money, and sex. He can't get all that if he can't do something as simple as return a phone call. Really? He not make. My friend says it this way: you haven't made enough deposits to get those kind of withdrawals. Okay. So once I started looking at myself that way as a business, then it was like, oh, wait a minute. Wait, where was the investment? Let me go back through the record. No, you're a little short, partner. You're a little short player. You can't get that like that, because you're a little short. Your account a little low. Okay, for you to be trying to get some kind of withdrawals right now. Okay. So, and yes, I consider all of those precious. I spent many years working to ensure that I was qualified to be in a relationship. What do I mean by that? I start working on my own, healing my own traumas, my own childhood traumas. I worked very diligently to make sure that I was healthy and whole enough mentally and emotionally, so that I wasn't spewing out my own trauma and brokenness on somebody else. But that was hard work. Anybody that's ever done anything or overcome even one of the traumas that we've experienced in our lives knows that's not an easy thing to do. But I spent a lot of time in my life making sure that I was qualified and healthy enough to be in a relationship. But then it's like, okay, but are they qualified? When I finally got myself together, I had to take another step. I had to begin to ask whether the person I was allowing to collect royalties had ever made the necessary investment in me to get the royalties requested. Like me, they had to have the first relationship with them in order. You got to have your own stuff together. You can't come at me with your brokenness and expect that I'm just going to tolerate it and tolerate emotional, physical, verbal abuse until you get yourself together. No. One of my least favorite statements came from the movie with what's that child's name? Tom Cruise. And the lady said, oh, you complete me my behind. If you ain't complete, don't come over here. We ain't mixing and matching little broken pieces of nothing. If we not complete and whole, then go on and get yourself together and let's holler later. Okay. When you're whole enough. And that doesn't mean that you got to be perfect. It doesn't mean that you have to know and how to do everything right. But at some level, at a minimum, we have to have acknowledged that we're not right, that we have issues, so that then we're not blaming other people, pointing the finger at everybody else. So I had to make sure that that he had his relationship with himself in order. Then they had to be able to tell me what it is they wanted. Do you even know yourself enough to know what you want? If somebody asked you what you're looking for in a relationship, if somebody asked you what you wanted, do you know enough? Can you articulate what it is that you want and need? Because oftentimes people, we talked about this, I think last week, we fall into relationships just because we just start hanging out for a while. Why is this important? It is important for me to know what they want so I can determine whether I'm capable of paying the tab, providing that service, or delivering that product. Because see, everybody have expectations and cannot meet your expectations. I don't know if I can pay that tab or not, Mr. Stephens. You understand what I'm saying? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I need to find out whether or not whether I'm quite, hey, because you might be asking something a little steep for my pockets. You know what I mean? I may not have all that to give you. If they can't define what they want, how can I tell if I'll be able to if I'll be able to fulfill the order? If I can't even get you to tell me what it is you're looking for. And most of us don't even think about things like that. Then I needed to evaluate whether they are what they are asking to receive. So if you're looking for somebody that's honest, are you honest? If you're looking for somebody that's thrifty with money, are you thrifty with money? You looking for somebody with a high, one of my least favorite things is all the people talking about, oh, I need my man, he need to make 6 figures and you making minimum wage. If you don't go on and knock it off somewhere, you know what I'm saying? You need to be what you're trying to receive. Okay. You want high post, but you're not high post material. You're not bringing nothing to the table like that. So for me, it was about, I was learning how to treat myself like a business. If a man wants to be in the Noreen business, he got to make certain investments up front. He got to be able to explain to me what he wants, and he needs to be whole enough to be in a relationship. And so, and I think it's important that we begin to look at it that way. If you go into, anybody goes into a liquor store in California, and they'll have, because not all states sell liquor the way that California does. And for example, in Pennsylvania, they're only sold, hard liquor is only sold in a store that's run by the state of Pennsylvania. And they're closed on Sundays, they close at a certain hour, and so on and so forth. So it's not free will and buy liquor like you can in California. But even in those instances, I guarantee you, there in every store that you buy alcohol, there are some things that are kept on the top shelf, some things that are kept behind a locked cabinet. Those are the really expensive things, okay? You're not going in there with your $2 talking about you want that top shelf liquor on the top shelf. So why do we think that we can invest nothing? I consider myself top shelf. I'm top shelf liquor, y'all. And you got to have that money and make that investment into in order to have the benefits of what comes with me. If I want that buzz from the top shelf liquor, then I got to pay the money to have those things. But these are the kinds of things about treating it. Once I learned to treat myself like a business, then I was less inclined to get into relationships that really weren't benefiting me and where I was the only one making an investment. And I want to open it up for people right here, just on that brief topic, because we only literally, believe it or not, have like 8 minutes left from before it's 7:00. And I know it's Valentine's, and I know y'all had a good meal that somebody cooked, and you guys are struggling, and I appreciate that. And I'm glad that you're here, but I want to open it up. If you want to have something to say, just go ahead and unmute and go for it.
Yeah, Mr. Lorraine, I want to say, Willie, that when I hear you speak so elegantly about perspective of a woman, I heard Oprah Winfrey say one time that the vagina was a beautiful thing. And I never knew what that meant. And when I hear that you speak so well about a female position and perspective, I understand now. I really do.
Good. Good. Because that's the thing. That's why I think this group is good to have the perspective of, to give you guys a female's perspective and the perspective of people who were out here waiting for a loved one to come home from incarceration. I think is valuable, but I had to learn first just to value me, and once I got that, then I was like, oh, okay. Now that I'm quality and now that I'm ready, are they quality and are they ready for me?
Mm-hmm,
And it
mm-hmm.
became a whole horse of a different color. I was stunned one day when a guy told me, and I couldn't wait to get to CIW to share with the ladies, that he felt like it was beneficial and it had value just to be able to have conversations with me.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
was like, wow, I never thought
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah.
You know?
That's so true. That is so true.
right? And also, so the time that I would invest having a conversation, sharing my resources, things like, even we talked earlier, and there's a possibility that we're going to share resources to help somebody with housing, right?
Yeah.
Even those kinds of things, they have a value. And I was always the person, I just like to help people. Like, so for me, um, that's good. Whenever I can help somebody, I feel good about it. But then I realized, wait a minute, is anybody helping me? I'm burnt out and tired. Is anybody taking care of that? Are they doing the same? And I can only keep going if I have something left to give. But if
Hmm.
I'm expending everything and I don't retain anything for myself, I don't hold anything back, I don't have nothing left to give. So burnout is real. Burnout,
Yes.
yeah. So thank you for that. Anybody else? Because what I'm gonna do, literally, um, I'm gonna give you guys an early exit. I'm gonna give you guys an early exit because it is Valentine's Day, and like I say, you guys, I can see y'all struggling. Y'all struggling. Y'all tired. Y'all, Miss Diane, did you want to say something? I see your hand up.
Yes, ma'am. I was saying that sometimes, well, majority of the time, people don't even notice that they have trauma. So if
Mm-hmm.
you really don't know you have trauma and you don't really want to identify with that pain that you've been going through for a long time, you don't know how to identify because you don't even know what it is. It takes time to process all those pains and all that, the things you keep going through over and over and over. And once you sit down and evaluate all that stuff, then you start digging into exactly what it was leading you to that point and leading you to do the things and what you feeling in the inside.
That's such a valid point, Di. It's such a good point because what I have found and experienced, and I know you have too, because we've talked about it, is a lot of times the people that need the most help don't even recognize that there's anything wrong.
Right. That's the thing. Yeah. And
And
it's
you are
okay.
pressed to get them to accept that there's anything wrong either.
Right.
Even
Because
if
they
you
don't
point
want,
it out, they're gonna argue you down. No, 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 because I wouldn't have done that if you didn't. And if she
right.
hadn't, I wouldn't have never. And
And yeah, that's not even what's going on. That's not even what's going on.
yeah, but thank you, thank you
You're
as
welcome.
always. Got something good for me. I
That's
appreciate
right.
that. I appreciate that, Mr. Carlos. I'm gonna call on you and ask you what's going on. What you think?
Well, I think back then I had that low self-esteem that I didn't value myself, and I just settled for anything, Uh, Now it's like when I'm in my relationship, it's like if I give you my time or if I do things for you, like I'm not saying I expect it, but it's nice for you to give me something back, like
You think?
uh not as far as like materialistic stuff, but like a good compliment, you know what I
Mm.
mean? Stuff like that. But I think I got a good woman, man. I believe I got a good woman. She lifts me up. I think it's a 50-50, and we both were in toxic relationships before, and now we both have learned what to do and what not to do in our marriage,
That's
and
wonderful.
I always try to tell her every time I talk to her how beautiful she is, and she just does the same thing. I just send her a picture of the meal and all the fellas, and she's all like, man, baby, you look good,
Oh.
So stuff like that is what
And it
I
goes a
think.
long way, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
It
It
goes a
does.
long way. A compliment, it seems like a small thing is not going to cost you a lot, but it can carry you a long way and it matters.
Right. Yeah, the fellas in here said that I'm getting fat. I told her, babe, am I getting fat? She goes, no, babe, you look good. See?
And that's the thing. That's the thing. You recognize the difference and you took time to recognize what toxicity is. So
Right.
now you say you don't expect it. You do expect it. You should expect that. You're giving it out to someone, you're giving love, you're giving honesty, you're giving respect. You should expect that back for yourself as well.
Okay.
Right, but I definitely understand your point being that it's not like it's tit for tat. You don't do this because you did. Now I expect no. I understand what you're saying, but you're absolutely right, Di. It is at the same time we have to have expectations or boundaries or things that make it
Right.
worth the while being in the relationship and investing the time that you invest in the relationship. So
Right.
you know, it's kind of both, and I get it from both sides of the coin. And you have a right, you have a right to expect that somebody would treat you with loving kindness when you're exhibiting that to them. And I'm so glad that you pointed out that you used to have low self-esteem, you didn't value yourself, and now
Nah.
you can. But guess what? Now that you do, you attracted somebody that
Right.
values themselves as
Right.
well.
There you go.
I'm in the top shelf. Where you
Top
gotta
shelf
call, you
liquor,
got
baby. That's us. We
where,
that
where,
top
where, where,
shelf, baby.
where, where you gotta push buzz and tell me you need help so they come unlock and get it for
Hello,
you.
hello. This ain't the champagne over there in the little cooler on the side. No, boo boo.
Right.
This ain't the one in the cooler in the 4-pack. This don't come in a 4-pack like that. Okay,
All right.
this don't come like that. Nah, baby. You dig a little deeper. You gotta go all the way down to the lint in the pocket to get this. You understand what I'm saying,
Right.
Carlos?
Hell yeah.
That's
Yep.
right. I heard that. You got to go to the lint, baby. Thank you. This is why I had you to comment, because you always give me something wonderful. I appreciate it. Mr. Rufus, talk
Thank
to me.
you.
There you go.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, my camera kind of going in and out, so
That's
you
okay.
got
You're
to
doing
bear
just
with me.
fine.
But I like what you said, and I think that what you said reminded me of something that I like to say when I was in prison. I used to tell my family members, and that's that you're responsible for your own happiness. You know what I mean? And when you said that, you look at yourself as a business and treat yourself as a
Be up there
business,
with the keys. You gotta unlock it.
you hold on that particular level, then uh, 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 how do you say it? When you people will meet you where you
Yes.
at. Instead of us, lowering ourselves and trying to attract something because we lowering ourselves to other standards. But as long as we hold ourselves to our own expectations, then people meet us where we at, and then
Yes,
and
they
then we
will.
go from there. You know what I
They
mean?
really will. That's
So
the truth.
I like what you said.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed that. Miss Samsung, can you talk to us? Oh, I'm sorry. I had to know to wait till you start chewing. I'm sorry, baby. My bad. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm gonna let you go on and finish chewing. I'm gonna let Mr. Hall talk to me. Uh-huh.
Right on point.
Uh-oh, it's a little bit.
We
It's
got messed
fuzzy.
up Wi-Fi over here, man.
Yeah, oh, sort of, but go ahead. Go ahead and say it anyway. We will make out as much as we can.
Yeah, I hear it. The camera just went out, I think.
Uh-oh, now I can hear you.
What you was talking about, very important. That's what you want in return. You want the value that you bring in to the table. You want that in return.
Mm-hmm.
Or you're not going to be selling for something less than that.
Right.
You was like, right now, I got a good friend that I've two previous bad relationships.
Uh-huh.
So that's not going to benefit her, or that's not going to add to her life.
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely. And she's lucky to have you as a friend to explain it to her. And you can always send her to Amazon to get my book, and that'll help her too. You know, I'm trying to look, this is the cold part, right? So while I'm talking all this value and all this kind of stuff, I'm trying to learn honestly how to remember to tell people to even buy my book. It's available on Amazon. Heard people hide it. Okay. But literally though, it is something that may help her understand. Like I say, you got to treat yourself like business. And when I explained it to some people, it gives them a way to think about it, that when you just think about personal relationships, you may not think of it that way. It's not as good an analogy for you to come to in that way. So, but she's lucky to have you to continue to remind her that she has to have her own, she has to know her own value. And she can't continue to invest in things that are not producing what she needs to have produced, or what, at least at some level. Because one of the things I think is important to say is this. No, on any given day, one person may be given 70 and the other person 30 today. But then the next day they given 80 and you given 20. But it needs to balance out you know what I'm saying, over time. It cannot just be all one person giving and one person taking. You know, so those things are important. But thank you, and I always appreciate your input. Okay, thank you so much. And Miss Samsung, you finished chewing now? You want to talk to me? Unmute, baby. Can you see it?
Okay, so I'm gonna say what I always say. To me, it's the worst thing in the world that if you've done a long amount of time to come home and get in a relationship, you need to get to know who you are as a person, because you know what you are like in there. But this is a different when we come that we know. And I got in a relationship when I first came home. It's the worst thing I could have ever done, because I didn't know who I was, and I used to cry all the time, and I had no reason to be crying over anybody, but I did. And I, like Noreen said, you got to know your. I don't help that. Get to know yourself first. Get to know yourself so you'll know what you want in a relationship with somebody, and you're not going to accept anything that they're giving you just as you haven't been in one. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, dear. You know, it brings to mind too something that one of the things that a lot of the former inmates that I've dealt with through my work, like even in providing housing for them, have a this thing. I'm just so glad, you know, I don't want to make no trouble. I don't want to be complaining all the time. No, complain, right? Like, you have a right to have, if you're in an apartment and you're paying rent, you have a right to have the apartment function the way that it's supposed to. If you're at a job, you have a right to expect that your paycheck is going to be delivered on time and as it was promised to you when you agreed to do the work. So just because you have been incarcerated doesn't make you a second-class citizen and that you have to put up with whatever somebody's dishing out. Mr. Bradley, I want you to talk to me. I always like to hear what you got to say too.
Okay. Noreen, I loved everything that you shared tonight. You was right on point. And as far as the business, treating yourself like a business, you know, that I love that part too. And as far as with me, you know, I was with a person for 6 years before I got incarcerated, but I never got a chance. I never took the time to get to know that person. And I don't think that person ever took the time to know me. And I think you're like, that person wanted to go left, I wanted to go right or straight. We was headed for two different directions. We didn't get a chance to share our goals, what we want in life. And I think that's where I went wrong with, because I didn't take the time to get to know that person for who she was, and I didn't give her the time to get to know me. And you know, treating yourself, like you said, as a business, you're gonna cherish that business because that's your baby. So it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, I like what you said. You shared with that right there. You was deep. You went real deep on that one. Thank you for sharing that.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. I appreciate it. I want to give an opportunity. Anybody else got any last comments? Because we're going to let everybody go so they can go ahead and have their itis from their wonderful Valentine's Day dinner. I will say this. The next time y'all cook like a big old meal like that and y'all don't invite me, I'm going upside everybody's head. I'm going back to the old violent days. I'm just start lining y'all up. You know what to tell me, okay? But happy Valentine's Day to everybody. I love you all. I really do. Thank you guys for being here. This has been Free to Heal, and we'll see you guys next week, okay?
Bye, Miss Maureen.
See you
Thanks,
guys.
Maureen.
All
Bye.
right.
Thanks.